This is Texans TV.
Hello, Texans. Welcome to our season preview show of the 2024 Houston Texans campaign. I'm Marc Vandermeer with John Harris. You hear us on Texans Radio. You're going to see us tonight and learn all about the 2024 Houston Texans season to be. Training camp underway, Johnny. Let's go over some of the big storylines, most notably CJ Stroud back for more.
Yeah, I think one of the things we talked a lot about last year, Marc, was the fact that every second time that he did something, he was that much better. First OTA, not so great. Second OTA, tremendous. First preseason game, struggled a bit. Second preseason game, very good. Well, how about first season when he's excellent to the second season? If he takes that leap from first to second, like he showed all last year, oh my goodness, what can this offense do?
Well, he's got a lot of good weapons to work with, and I think you'll be with me when I say that this wide receiver core is probably the deepest in the history of the franchise.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, everybody wants to talk about the big three. Everybody around the NFL says Diggs, Dell, and Collins. My goodness, that three is great. But, man, you go beneath the surface. Talk about Noah Brown, John Mechie, Robert Woods, these guys that have been around for a little bit that extends this group 7, 8, 9. This is going to be a really tough cut of receiver. Marc, I don't think I've ever seen a receiver group quite like this.
Well, the ground game really improved back half of 2023. What are we going to see this season? Joe Mixon added to the mix, and Dameon Pierce, he wants that comeback campaign, get back to his 2022 level.
Yeah, no doubt. Mixon, very decisive runner, thick, but can catch the ball in the backfield. So you get that aspect with Joe Mixon. I think you can have it with Dameon Pierce, too. I think Dameon's got great hands. But if Dameon can understand how to run in the zone scheme a little bit better, and you've got that 1-2 punch that DeMeco Ryans talked about, my goodness, that running game can really click. But you know as well as I do, that front five, you got to fix the five up front and find where you want everybody to go. Where does Juice go? Where does Titus go? What about the two greens? How do you fix that up front? We know one thing, Laremy Tunsil will play left tackle, and he's a stud. That's a great start.
Another huge storyline. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Big steps forward last year, of course, but they want to get even better. How do they do that? Let's start with the D-line, where they had some losses at D-tackle, but you add at end Danielle Hunter, and they did add some guys at tackle who will be heard from.
Yeah, I think they went and got athletic size with Tim Settle and with Fulurunsu Fatukasi. Those two inside, they're 315, 320, but they move extremely well. So they'll be bigger up front, but let's be honest. The edges is where it's at. When you're talking about two guys up front, Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter. And oh, by the way, Derek Barnett and Danico Autry are here as well. You could have those as your four rush guys in a pass rush situation, and it be as good as anything we've seen here in Houston. So you've got depth, you've got size, you've got athleticism. It's really fun to watch this defense, and will be even more fun as the season rolls on.
Well, Azeez Al-Shaair, who played for the Titans last year, DeMeco had him in San Francisco at that linebacking position group, and also Christian Harris was amazing as the season progressed last year, looking for more in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. Having Azeez here, the man in the middle, he'll be talking to the front, he'll get the back organized. I just think his experience in DeMeco's defense is massive for this overall group. But having to watch him in Tennessee last year was such a gut punch. I'm so glad that he is now wearing the colors of the Texans in here, because he will be the guy that everything revolves around. And I think that's going to allow Christian Harris to play loose, fun, and free.
What about Derek Stingley Jr. in the secondary? Pro Bowl campaign on the way if he stays healthy. Not that it's all about the Pro Bowl, but definitely worth watching.
I mean, he's one of the top 2 or 3 corners in the league. He's got incredible skill. During OTAs and mini camps, he was at the height of his game. And as long as he stays healthy, he's going to get better and better, and he's going to be the guy talked about as the top guy at that position before too long in the NFL.
All right, continuity is king when you talk about the roster and when you talk about the coaching staff, because some of these guys had interviews, but they decided to stay, which is awesome for DeMeco Ryans' staff.
I mean, you just think about any job. If your boss stays, somebody that you respect, your GM stays, just that helps you so much better as an employee. And for these players to have the coaching, think about CJ. Bobby Slowick stays, Gerard Johnson stays, Bill Lazor stays. I mean, that's his quarterback ecosphere right there, staying with him for year 2. I mean, look, in year 2, you don't have it all down, but at least you've got the guys, when problems do arise, you've got the guys that can help you through that, and you're used to hearing those voices. It's a great thing to keep the continuity on this staff.
Well, those are some of the big storylines. Another huge one is the schedule. It is so tough, and we will go over that a little bit later in the show. Next up, one of the rookies you will be hearing from, cornerback Kamari Lassiter. His story coming up next here on the Texans Season Preview. Back with the Texans season preview show. Well, the draft this past year had no first-round draft choice because they used that in the Stephon Diggs trade, but Kamari Lassiter in the second round was the first player selected by the Houston Texans, and he looked really good in OTAs and minicamp. Let's get to know Kamari Lassiter from Georgia better in his story.
I had a pretty good childhood, I grew up only child. I had a lot of family around me, a lot of cousins, uncles, aunties. We were always all together, just doing family things, having fun, teaching me how to play ball. My mom put me in football when I was 3. I was playing flag football at first because I was too young to play tackle. And then once I turned 4, I was able to play tackle, and it was over with after that. I knew instantly this was something else for me. It was no stopping me with football. It was something that I really enjoyed doing. My favorite part about football was definitely hitting when I was young. It was my only time I could actually go and just hit somebody as hard as I could and not get in trouble. So I was having fun. In high school, I moved out to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So I went to a school called American Christian Academy, and the high school was great. That's whenever I really, started taking off of football. I really found out that I was actually really good and I could do some big things with football. So high school was great. I had a really good high school career. That whole summer, everyone else is gone, but in the summer, all the guys, football guys, we all working out together, doing 7-on-7, running together, and that's really the best time of the year. Whenever it's really just you and the guys, and you just really get to lock in on football.
By Lassiter, Kamari Lassiter makes the play.
Lassiter is right there.
Day 1 starter at the next level.
I'm a down south Georgia boy, That's where I'm from, I'm a Georgia boy through and through. Coach Marc, the staff, everything that's going on there, it's great. We won 2 natties, so it's not really much to ask. I realized I could play in the NFL after my first practice because everyone I was going against was going to the NFL. So I was like, yeah, I could really do this too as well. It was a dream come true, Me playing for Georgia, that's something that I remember for the rest of my life. That's honestly a dream come true. And, I'm extremely grateful for it.
Hello?
Kamari,
Yes, sir.
Nick Casario with the Texans. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great. Congratulations. We're going to turn the pick and we're going to make you a Texan. So you're a good football player, man. You're tough. You tackle. You compete. You play your ass off. You got good leadership. We're excited to have you. Everything our program's about.
You excited to be a Texan or what?
Man, hell yeah, Coach. I'm too ready.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, fired up for you.
Draft night was crazy. We ended up going to a venue out in Georgia, somewhere where everyone could meet at. And, I got all my family there, all my friends there. It was a crazy night. We had a good time. We had a DJ and stuff. We're just kicking it. And, I'm just waiting for the call. And then finally got the call, just being able to see and feel the reaction of everyone and just seeing everyone around me just be so proud and full of, happiness and energy. Something I'll never forget.
Houston Texans linebacker Christian Harris.
H-Town, where we at, baby? With the 42nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Kamari Lassiter, defensive back, Georgia.
My mom, for sure. My mom, she definitely, she's definitely the most happy for me just because she's been through it all with me. Everything, from just the way we've grown with each other from the day I was born to now, it's a sight to see. First month has been smooth. The guys kind of took me in, it was a smooth transition. I love it out here. I love being on the team. The locker room's great. Practice is fun. It's electric. Coaching staff, everyone's great. Food's good. I got no complaints. The goal is really just earn and respect my teammates and my coaches and, just put my best foot forward every day. Just do whatever I can to help us win. We'll just take it from there.
Earlier on in the show, we talked about some of the big storylines for the 2024 Houston Texans. Well, the schedule, Johnny, might be the biggest story. Last year, okay, they got through it, 10-7, beautiful performance there, playoff victory. But now you play a first-place schedule, and that affects 3 games now that you have a 17-game schedule. And that would be what? The Kansas City Chiefs, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Baltimore Ravens, who you're going to play because you finished first in the AFC South. But let's start with the Colts. That's how you finished the regular season last year, and you begin the regular season this year.
Yeah, and they want you badly, let's just be honest. And they're going to have Anthony Richardson back. They're really excited about AR5's comeback this year and what he was able to do with the game at Energy Stadium in Week 2. There's been a lot of talk coming from Indianapolis about how that team is going to be that much different in Week 1 than it was in Week 18 just by Richardson's presence and his presence alone. Now, they've added some pieces. Leatu Latu over on defense, the first defensive player drafted in the 2024 draft. They are going to be loaded and ready for the Texans to come in after what happened in Week 18.
Well, in Week 2, we won't go week by week, but that begins 4 primetime games that are on this slate, plus 1, the Christmas Day game, primetime national game, whatever you want to call it. But Bears Week 2, you have the Lions Battle Red Night. You're going to go to the Meadowlands and play Aaron Rodgers on a Thursday night. Dallas Cowboys Monday Night Football. This thing is loaded with primetime action.
I mean, if you're a Texans fan and you want to travel to a game, you've got your pick. I mean, going to New York for Halloween on a Thursday night, Monday night up in Arlington, and I know when we were there in 2014, that thing was 50-50. So I guarantee you Texans fans will be in there for that. But to have the Sunday night games at home after years of not having those opportunities is going to be so special. Week 2, that place is going to be rocking for Caleb Williams, the rookie quarterback of the Chicago Bears. But when Detroit comes in there's a lot of Texas flavor on that coaching staff. Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn. That's going to be a fun one that Sunday night when the Lions come in here as well.
Well, back to the division for a moment, because we mentioned the Colts opening with them. You're done with the Colts before October ends. This is the earliest you will be done with that season series, and you wrap up the regular season with the Tennessee Titans. So it's kind of a strange division schedule, if you will, but it's tough because the Jags want you. You mentioned the Colts want the Texans. The Jags want the Texans badly.
Yeah, and look, the Jags beat the Texans here in Week 12 last year, and they thought that was just going to catapult them into the AFC South championship, and they cratered. So the Jags have got to prove something to themselves, that they are the team that was successful in 2022 and not the team that cratered in 2023. And we will see what Trevor Lawrence is all about in year number 4. Wow, year number 4, you got the big contract to be in Jacksonville. I can't wait for these division games. They're going to be fantastic. Even going to Tennessee. Keep this in mind. When the Texans go on the road, they've got an 8-game road division winning streak.
That's a good note.
How about
right
that?
there. That is a good note. Another note, latest they've ever had the bye, but it's a good thing it happens right before the gauntlet, as we will call it, when you take on the Miami Dolphins at NRG Stadium, then you go to the Chiefs, and then you have a very short week before the Christmas Day game against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I get excited about holiday games, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Well, I'm excited about playing Christmas. I don't know how excited I am to see Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Another number for you, the Texans have never beaten Lamar Jackson. Now, they've only played him a handful of times, but Lamar Jackson has always found that secret sauce against the Texans. Hopefully on Christmas, we are his Scrooge, and the fans are leaving here with a W.
Bah humbug, we say to him. Now, as we look at the entirety of the schedule, Johnny, last year, 10 victories. Everyone asks you, they all ask me, how many wins? It's tough to say, obviously. You never know how it's going to play out. I would say you could have 10 wins again this year and be very happy about it, but it all depends on how you do in the division and how they do against the other opponents. Look, I'd love to win 14 or more, but it is what it is. Your thoughts in general?
Yeah, I think you could get to 10 wins and feel even better about what the team has done because you've replaced the teams you played last year that were Denver, Arizona, and the Jets. They were all 4th-place teams the year prior. Well, you're facing the Cowboys, the Ravens, the Chiefs. I mean, if you come out of there 1-2, 2-1, I mean, you got to be thinking 10, 11 wins at that point. And look, this team's expectation, we can all have expectations of 9, 10 wins. They're thinking to go win a championship in New Orleans this year. I love that thinking, and that's the way they need to think. That's the way they're going to think, and I love that. But look, if you get to 10 wins, you're back in the dance, and you'll be that much more dangerous because you will beat some good teams throughout the year.
Dangerous is the word. Okay, when we continue with the season preview show, let's get to know another one of the rookies, Cade Stover. Great familiarity with CJ Stroud. They played together at the Horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio. What's his story? That's coming up. Moving right along here with the Texans season preview show, Cade Stover from Ohio State played with CJ Stroud there, stayed the extra year. Last year, of course, as Stroud was burning up the NFL as a rookie. Well, now Cade Stover is a Texan back with Stroud. Let's get to know him and hear his story.
The easiest way to describe the way I grew up would just be a hard-nosed, blue-collar family. Come from a farm, so hard-working people. Watch your dad work like that, watch your mom work like that. It's a really special lifestyle. I'm very proud to be from it. We raise about 100 head of Black Angus cows for freezer beef. We sell freezer beef to like 300 to 400 some people across Ohio for their families. On top of that, we farm about 250, 300 acres of corn and alfalfa. All that basically is what we feed to those cows. Cows eat on your birthday, cows eat on Thanksgiving, cows eat on Christmas. You carry that mindset over to football. You're always looking for another step. You're always looking for another gear you could find, another advantage somewhere. You're never satisfied until the whole job is completely done. My whole family revolved around farming and football and athletics. 5 or 6 years old, you get going and then you find a little bit of success and you're like, hey, how can I find more success? I was always looking to headhunt people. From the time you started hitting in 3rd grade to 5th grade, Pops always preached you were at the top of the food chain, you're the enforcer at all times. And that mindset kind of moved the defense, and that's where the majority of my life I've spent, and then trying to bring that over to the offense side of the ball. I loved high school. I loved the people around it. I loved the area. I mean, it was the kind of school where when we're playing basketball on Friday night, we're turning people down at the door because everybody's in there watching that place. We really weren't a football program when I first got there, and then by the time I was a senior, we actually put together a pretty good run in the playoffs a couple times. To do it for your hometown and do it, I mean, with the guys you grew up with was really special to me. When I first came in, obviously, everybody's got your expectations. This is how it's going to go. You're going to be here for 3 years. You're going to do this. You're going to start. You're going to be this and that, and you're going to go to the NFL. And obviously, that's not what happened for me. It was multiple times where you're like, hey, do you actually really even belong here? Like, is this right for you? Do you need to get out of here? Really, I test that again to my dad, just constantly keeping faith in me, even when there was times when I was like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. He kept the faith in me, keep going. Started my first game, actually it was on defense, and I was like, okay, you're still the same guy you were, like you can roll. And then I took that over to the offense side of the ball and just never looked back.
With the 123rd pick of the NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Cade Stover.
I didn't watch 1 second of that draft, any of it. I was actually unhooking my dad's chisel plow from his tractor and my phone rang.
Coach Ryan's here with the Texans, man. He's about to turn his pick in for you. Excited?
Oh, thanks so much.
We just got done working ground, and I was literally cranking the jack on the chisel plow to unhook that, and I had headphones on, just on one ear, just so I could make sure my phone, I didn't miss it. I was with him. Nothing really was said. Yeah. I don't know, just somebody like that to get, just the way he is, he's just yeah. Something you feel like, hey, I'm ready for, and like, until it actually happens, then you're like, I'm kind of an emotional fella as far as just, I don't hide things well, I wear everything on my sleeve, good or bad, it's just kind of the way it is. I don't really remember what I said by any means, I just remember I was very happy, very happy. I mean, I've always strived just to do exactly what It's going to help this team. Whether that's running down a kickoff, whether that's catching touchdowns, whether that's pass protection. Whatever needs to be done, I just want to mean something. I want to matter, and I'm going to put myself in a position to hopefully do that and help this team go do what we got to do. That's very, very special. One of the huge perks of this place for me personally, and that goes a little bit beyond just the tight end, quarterback. I mean, we were both captains of that team together, so that was something super special. And I think both of us can probably attest that was one of our biggest accomplishments we had, was being elected a captain there. Because that's not the coach saying here, hey, you're a captain. That's everybody voting. Here's where I think your leader should be on this team. Super special, and that's a guy, I mean, I'll go to bat for any day. There's nothing better. I mean, you think about a job for your life. I mean, yeah, I love farming with all my heart, but I mean, to sit here and get paid to play ball and just try and find different ways just to be better and just continuously get better at playing football, like, you couldn't ask for anything more.
Great to learn more about Cade Stover, who I'm sure will be a fan favorite. I think he's going to make a lot of plays for this team, Johnny. But final thoughts on the season preview show as the Houston Texans, we mentioned it, embark on a tough schedule, got to stay healthy, but they've got the right people on the bus.
It's the most long-awaited season, I think, for fans ever in Houston. It's here. Let's go. It's go time. Excited about everything that's going to happen. Andre Johnson's induction, everything that's going to happen this year is going to be so much fun to follow, and you can follow us all year long as well.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome because it's only the second time in team history that the Texans will appear in the Hall of Fame game, and it's the earliest start to camp that we just went through. So the Houston Texans have their work cut out for them, no doubt about it, but what a great mix of players, coaching staff, support staff, all of it, led by Cal Hannah McNair, also Nick Caserio, Executive Vice President and General Manager. That's going to do it, my friend. Looking forward to being with you on the radio and talking to the fans all season long about the 2024 Houston Texans. Have a great season. Go Texans.